Saya. Here back again with another review video to the new Netflix original film Nightmare of the Wolf. I'll start off by saying that the film was awesome, and if you're a Witcher fan, another form of media to hold you over till the season 2 comes in a live action in December, I believe. What I liked about the film itself was the animation. The animation was so cool, and the fight scenes were awesome. Seeing events that foretold how the Witchers were made and seeing a story unfold of Geralt's mentor gives you more insight for how he became such a great leader for Geralt and his other Witcher friends. This film focuses on Vesemir, Geralt's teacher, on his transformation to becoming a Witcher, while also showing the fall of Kaer Morhen, basically the Witcher School of the Wolf. I want to dive into a little bit of spoilers just to talk about other aspects of the film. Did well of explaining while also explaining a few things that the film could have added, giving a little more into the backstory. So let's see, like part one of the story. You start off with a family trying to find their way through the forest to make it back to town or like the kingdom, having to stop because of them being lost. This scene shows the dark tone and nature of the world of Witcher, as the family is familiar with the path but lost due to the monster's influence. This is when Alessian shows up and attacks the family, while one of the family members actually survives thanks to Vesemir. This scene also shows that the Witchers themselves are no heroes, as he didn't make it in time to save the boy's family. Only after killing Alessian, he leaves the boy to fend for himself, and basically saying the monster how much profit you've seen Vesemir make from the clan, the monster, and everything. It's all about the money to that man. It's all about the money to all Witches during his time right now. It is shown that the boy is found by a mage who despises the Witchers and actually blames the Witcher for the monster being in the forest itself. And if the monster was a real at all, hinting at the dark connection of the monster to the Witcher. For those who don't know, monsters were always around thanks to the merge of like the human realm and the monster realm together. I believe this is how he explained it to the game. I'm not sure how like the story of the actual books did, but it was a merger of the realms that basically the mages caused to work. The mages had caused trying to contain power or unlock power, and that basically what drove the monsters into the human realm and kind of overflooded it. Basically, then the mages couldn't take responsibility for their actions, so they basically created Witchers in order to fight the monsters that they basically couldn't handle themselves. This would have been a good time to show just how and why the mages decided to go this route with creating monsters. I believe as a scene maybe showing the mages being overrun by monsters, trying to basically hold them over with the power they were able to contain from their realm, and which basically kind of led them into the creation of the Witchers themselves. The Witchers, however, are seen to have defending ally throughout the film. Liliana, as also a friend of Vesemir, sees the Witcher as necessary and needed into the world, while the mage that you follow throughout the film argues to be rid of them. She hates them, she doesn't like them. She knows of their importance, but at the same time just doesn't care. His banter is shown basically going back and forth between the mage and Liliana, and basically that's what kind of drives the final act into the film. In the middle of the film itself, middle parts of the film take a while to get off, as there's a little bit of time jump in between Vesemir's past and present. It can be a little bit confusing, but it's easy to follow, as the backstory parts are what makes you feel more attached to the character themselves. From the beginning of wanting more in life and seeing the first Witcher he met while being a servant to the family that had one of their women, like maybe like a royal family. I forgot how to explain. I think that was just basically servants of them. But she was possessed by a monster, and in order to save her, Dalfin, I think that was his name, kind of Vesemir's mentor, the Witcher was hired there to basically free her from the monster's possession. As Vesemir sees how much profit Dalfin is basically making from this job, he wants to pursue the life of the Witcher now in order for basically get out of the situation he's in. I really like this part of the film because though Vesemir volunteered to become a Witcher, it is shown that most children get sold into becoming Witches, as due to the dangerous work of the job, Witchers come and go at an alarming rate. If not completely skilled enough to take on the wrath of the monsters that they fight. The monsters ain't the only threat the young Vesemir has to go through, as the trials themselves of the Witcher and what the recruits have to go to becoming one. it's basically, it could really diminish the numbers. Not many even survive the trials themselves. The trials are surviving, like the swamp monsters and mutations to kill the children. The most that survive are granted the passage of becoming witches and hopefully professional monster slayers. I'm not sure if the film stated it himself, but in the game I remember that basically there was like an age limit to become a witcher. If you were too young to go partake into like the trials, the mutations wouldn't work itself. And if you were too old for it, I don't think the mutations wouldn't work themselves. But that's why I don't know if the film actually hinted in that though. And they showed a little bit into like the game how all the young kids were basically trying to partake in the trials, and it was dark. Seeing people that Vesemir was like probably friends with and didn't even make it past the first thing was like, damn, this is really showing you just how brutal it is of the Witcher life. But showing this displays the reality of being a Witcher. It is not all fame and glory, as surviving the trials basically kills more Witchers than it produces. Leading on to this goes into the final act of getting past all the... Hold on real quick. I thought I had my thing. Moving into the final act, displaying the crazy fight between the Witchers, the humans, and the monsters leading up to the film. Hence that because of the monsters are running low, the Witchers will no longer be needed into the world. Dalfin, Vesemir's like mentor, and Redrick, I think the alchemist was that you meet in Witcher Mutations. He's a very expert in that. He also comes up with the idea to mutate monsters in a way to basically keep the money flow going, keep monsters coming into the world, and humans aren't really fond that they only need the Witchers to basically fight the monsters when they need to. They don't need more lurking around with more abilities of other monsters. Basically, the balance of the world itself will be thrown into turmoil if the Witchers are able to continue to work like this. So you don't really know how many monsters the Witchers themselves had released from Kaer Morhen, or like even if other schools into the Witcherverse had probably did this as well. But more work, more profit. That's how Dalfin sees it, and I kind of see his view because he wanted to sustain his way of life. It's just going about it the way he was trying to do wasn't going to benefit the humans at all, and that's how they see it too. A threat to them is also the Witchers, and a threat to them is also the monsters themselves. So they were more focused on the Witcher part aspect, trying to get rid of them, and that's how like the final battle builds up. The final act of the battle is to stop their way of life, kill the Witchers, and restore balance and the power of humankind. What the humans never realize is, however, that the Witchers are what keeps the balance in between the monsters and humans themselves. That is the reason why they were created. The mages couldn't take care of them, and that's why you need the Witchers in the first place. I don't want to go into basically too many spoilers like I already did so far, but if you want to check out the film, the fights, the animations, the backstories that are told, and the tale of Vesemir are a sight to see. I highly recommend this live-action film. Not live-action, this film. I'm thinking of the freaking season 2 coming out. But I highly recommend this film as it will leave you wanting more from the Witcherverse. Stay tuned into December, I believe season 2 of the live action comes out, and it's good, and maybe hope for another animated piece into the Witcherverse as well. But this movie was really good. I really want to see what they can do more for this, and also check out the Witcher games themselves, although not directly probably connected to this, as the Witcher games follow their own story, but the books follow from season 2 of the live action, and also this animated film themselves, as I was saying. But all together though, The Witcher is one of my favorite fantasy series, as The Witcher 3 was my first introduction to the series, and I freaking loved it. And seeing how it's basically making a name for himself coming up slowly but surely, more people will get into it. And I hope people do. Go play The Witcher 3, go play The Witcher 1 and 2 if you have to, and check out the live action show, and definitely check out this movie. Very good animated movie and a great backstory into Vesemir. And also, I appreciate everyone who watching it. Please take the time to share and like the video. Almost at 200 subs, and hopefully I will grow more. This is till next time though. It's Asaya signing out.